Will there be nodes for midnight? Of course. It's its own network. What are your thoughts on the cognitive theoretic model of the universe? I think it's that one from that 200 IQ dude. I don't know enough about it. I need to look into it. There's a lot of panpsychism that's leaking its way back into discourse. It's kind of getting a second set of legs. Charles, got any birds up your sleeves? Oh man, I got something. It's gonna make you guys shit your pants, but you'll find out towards the end of the month. You degen bastards. You'll love it. Was Plutus always going to be Turing complete? Can you speak to a history here? Need a citation for my Voltaire paper. It was a pleasure meeting you in Buenos Aires. So the original intent was actually for Plutus to be a DSL, and for the Cardano settlement layer to minimize expressiveness. So it's almost like a quasi fixed function ledger. This is why we did Marlow at the same time as Plutus. And the idea would be that we would have had a Turing complete sidechain, all the computations would be run on, and we could bootstrap a fast BFT protocol from the Ouroboros. Might have noticed Ouroboros BFT, for example, it was kind of the beginning of a conversation there. What we learned when we brought people in who were really, really smart about programming language theory is that we could actually do the whole banana and make Cardano maximally programmable at the base ledger. And there, it wasn't really clear what accounting model would win out. So we financed two teams at the same time. One was the extended UTXO, which was led by people like Manuel Chakravarty, who did a phenomenal job, and Phil Wadler, amongst others. And then the other side of it was led by Grigori Roshu, who did Yella in the whole K ecosystem. And then Bruno Paleo designed a paper called Chimeric Ledgers. And the idea was that both sides would be put together and live in the same ecosystem, the same ledger. So you have the best of both worlds. Yella fixed a lot of the problems in the Ethereum ecosystem, and we kind of felt pretty good about interoperability between the EVM and Yella. It wasn't perfect, but transpilation would be non-problematic, and we get all the optimizations from the LLVM. We could never get Yella to work at scale because the ocean strategy was semantic space compilation. And basically, what that meant was that you could take a program from an arbitrary language. And if we had the formal semantics of another language and that language, you could auto-magically translate between them and it would work on the infrastructure. So the hope was that we could every year support dozens of new programming languages like Python and C++ and Rust, and then it all live there in the yellow side of the house. And for your asset issuance and your high assurance applications, they would live on the extended UTXO side. Because we could never get that paradigm to work, and we spent $19 million in like 3 or 4 years. It was so expensive and time consuming, although we did learn a lot and led to the first formal verification of the Ethereum semantics, the KEVM, for example, which the Ethereum ecosystem is now using. Vitalik talks about it. Somehow Cardano and IO never get mentioned in that. It led to a lot of good in the open source community, but unfortunately, we didn't really get to use that as well as we could, and it kind of makes me sad because I loved that whole part of the roadmap. But is what it is. Can't do anything about it. You just move on, and we have the extended UTXO side. Plutus is great. Plinth is great. It's really cool seeing what Aiken has done. That ecosystem's growing at an extraordinary pace, and it's becoming interoperable with things through Bitcoin OS. Excuse me, Bitcoin DeFi. It's going to be interoperable with BitVMX, which is RISC-V, which is the next big virtual machine people are pushing for. And there's a lot of ways we can bring EVM interoperability in. Maybe I can sneak that in with Quantum Hosky.